What's going on, everybody? Nazdarachi here. It's a nice Sunday afternoon, and I figured I would analyze the two frames, the single images that were released yesterday in relation to the Final Fantasy VII Remake. There was also a third photo release that was Kingdom Hearts 3, but I'm not going to analyze that one. So what are we looking at? So two photos were released on the official Twitter for Final Fantasy. And we're looking at the first one here, which has got Cloud Strife, as you can see right here. He is hiding behind a box, taking cover from a soldier that's shooting at him. Like pew, 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 right here. And there's a few things that we can take from this picture. There's not too much information that has actually been released about this game, but starting from left to right, we can see over here that we have an L1R1 with command, and then a menu that we're really familiar with attack, magic, materia, which seems to be grayed out right here, and items. Then there's some Japanese down here, which we don't know what that is, but it's probably something relating to the area that they're in, the map, the title of whatever chapter they're part of, location of like Shinra, front gate, or back gate. Something like that, I would assume, is what this is down here. So, in the middle, obviously, we have Cloud. It seems that there is kind of a fixed camera perspective of, you know, this kind of viewpoint right here is the camera that we have in both frames. Now, hopefully it's going to be a little less janky than the Final Fantasy 15 camera and staying a little bit more true to the, you know, third person back over the shoulder. You know, Final Fantasy 15 was beautiful, don't get me wrong, but there were definitely plenty of moments where you're fighting enemies in the bushes and you really have no idea what the heck is going on. So hopefully they've stabilized that camera a little bit here. Now, I'm only recording in 1080p, obviously, so this game is going to be fairly beautiful. Now, you know, it doesn't look so great on this image that I have going on right here, but with what we have here on this image and what it's shaping up to be, this game is going to be pretty beautiful in 4K. So anything else of importance going on the screen? Down here we can see the stats area, which includes the HP bar, the MP bar, a limit break, which you can't really tell right now, but is actually divided into little sections here. There's little dividers. I'm doing a really bad job, but there's little dividers in there that kind of section off the limit break bar. And then there's this ATB gauge right here with these three little hash marks in it. Now this information, some of which is also reflected up here. As you can see, we have the health bar on the bottom, the three little hash marks from the ATB, and then I guess this would appear to be the empty ATB gauge right there. So with this being a more action-oriented game, like as you can see, you're actively taking cover here as Cloud and being shot at. One would wonder how the ATB, which is the active turn-based system, is going to play in. A lot of people are speculating that it's going to have a supplementary extra effect beyond just doing your regular commands down here. And as well, this menu brings up a lot of questions down here too, because this doesn't really fit into a more active Final Fantasy 15 style of hack and slash gameplay. So hopefully we're looking at some hybrid version of turns and making strategic choices combined with the more active style of gameplay, which is already what Kitase and some of the other developers have kind of already admitted that they were shooting for. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm assuming that L1 and R1 here are going to be switched between characters when you have multiple people in your party. And the only reason I say that is because of the next photo. So is there anything else important that we need to cover in this photo? It doesn't really look like it. I mean, there's really good lighting. You have shadows under his arm here, so they paid a lot of attention to detail You got good shadows just with the light being cast on the crate, and then the gunfire putting nice shadows down. As you can see, there's shadows everywhere, where there's also spots of light from the spotlights. So the visual look of this is rather appealing. I know now there's just dots all over the screen, so it doesn't really make sense, but for anyone that watched from the beginning, it should make a little bit more sense. Alright, so moving on to the next photo they released, we have the team battle versus the guard Scorpion inside the Mako reactor. So there's a lot we can gather putting this photo together with the first one that we saw and some of the other little teaser video images we've seen. There's a decent little bit of information we can gather from this. So what we have going on here, obviously the same window down here is going on, so nothing really different going on there. But again, I believe this R1 and L1 will switch between characters. As you can see, Cloud is highlighted right here, and there's a triangle indicator over his head there. So if that is to select Cloud, press triangle, or is that he's ready to do a move and you have to press triangle to do some type of action-oriented sequence to get him to power up his moves? We don't really know. What I can tell you is obviously the same camera angle applies of the kind of behind the shoulder third person effect, so the camera is still kind of doing that same thing as we saw in the last photo. There's a bunch of circles on the ground, as you can see here. There's a whole bunch of them. Boom, boom, boom over here in the background. And as you can see, there's missiles coming in. So this is obviously the guard Scorpion shooting off some sort of artillery style missile attack. And these are the spots on the ground that you're going to want to avoid. And they are completely surrounding this enemy, which leads me to believe that the battles will take place in kind of a 360-degree environment, as we've seen in some of the teaser trailers. Now we have the health of the guard Scorpion right here. Obviously this target marker in the middle is denoting that it's being targeted. And then we have Barrett over here, who's already shot off some type of attack. So he's kind of firing over there. Now, it's important to notice as well, we've got some more activity going on down here. So we didn't have but just Cloud in the party in the first picture, but now we have two people. We can clearly see the divisions in the limit break bar, how Cloud is almost halfway full and how Barrett's is completely full. Now, to what extent all three hash marks give you, I don't really know yet. Do you get a more powered up or a stronger level 3 limit break if they're full, and you can only have access to level 1 limit breaks if they're not? Or do you have to build the bar up all the way to get even access to the first one? We have our health bar, which shows them at a more significant level of health. And then we have the ATB gauge, actually with the letters ATB on it. Now that wasn't mentioned when Cloud was taking cover in the other photo. That ATB wasn't there. And we also have Cloud with a full bar. The same triangle representation that's over his head is now down over here. And he's got one hash mark. Barrett, we're assuming, is just attacked, so his bar is empty or refilling, and he doesn't have any of those little hash marks. Of course, as well, there's some more Japanese here, so we don't, exactly know what that entails. But there's a lot of action going on in this photo. Again, the resolution is somewhat limited by me taking the picture and then recording in 1080p here, so expect it to look less grainy than this, obviously. But again, we've got Cloud dashing through some fire over here. It looks like he's going to be coming around to make some type of attack in this direction. Got lots of stuff that's blown up in the background. Obviously, this guard Scorpion is firing off shots everywhere and shooting missiles down. So this is going to be, I feel like, a very action-oriented game. But with this stuff going on down here, there's going to be some implementation of the strategic choice-making situation that you found in the original Final Fantasy VII. This guard Scorpion also looks like it's taking pretty good damage right here, so who knows? This is probably just from the initial Mako reactor scene. And these numbers, don't trust these numbers because they're just doing this image as a display, you know, it doesn't mean that in the very beginning of the game you're going to be having 1400 health or 1600. Unless there's a time further down the game when you're fighting another guard scorpion. But somehow I doubt that. I feel like they're probably just doing this to have kind of, you know, something to release. The developer actually commented that this year he wants to release more information on the game instead of leaving people in the dark so much. And as well, he had some Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff that he posted up. So we've kind of analyzed everything that we've got going on in this release of these dual photos so far. I don't speak Japanese, so I can't really comment on some of the Japanese characters that are on the screen. But if I had to say, we're going to have hopefully a more stable camera, as it seems just from these two photos. Still 360-degree combat, as the guard scorpion can be seen shooting attacks all around it. And Cloud is dashing around. So in this window down here, you're going to be able to kind of organize your strategy for what your team is doing, as it's going to pop up and tell you in multiple places what's going on. So it was a nice little teaser. I'm definitely excited for all this information that's coming out. So far, I'm definitely very happy with what I've seen. This game is on track to hopefully becoming a true representation of what Final Fantasy could have been if they had the hardware at the time that they do now today. So again, I'm just super excited for all this stuff. I hope you guys have enjoyed this little frame-by-frame analysis. Literally frame-and-frame analysis, because that's all we got. But stay tuned, and I will definitely be keeping tabs on Final Fantasy VII Remake. And any new information that you guys get, feel free to post down in the comments. If you like the video, feel free to give me a thumbs up, but you know, you don't have to. And subscribe if you want to see a bunch of random video games and hear a bunch of random news updates for a bunch of new up-and-coming cool stuff. This is Nazarachi. Hope you all had a great afternoon this Sunday, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.